Hey guys, can you hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Make sure it's all working right. All right, we are good. See you guys coming in here. Thank you very much. It's another Freedom Friday. Uh, get caught up on some stuff. I have not been doing videos because I have been slammed, either between personal stuff uh, and stuff at the club. Uh, I've been cranking out projects at the club, and it takes a lot out. And I'll tell you what, with this heat, there are a few days that I get home, I want to do a video, I got something in my head I'm thinking about after, sitting in a dozer for 8 hours and walking something through, and it's just so hot out that I come home, I grab a Diet Coke, and I'm done. Grab a shower, and maybe that's it. But you know what? You guys are all chiming in here. Thank you very much. So um, let's chill with a cocktail. Went out to dinner with my lovely wife tonight, and we went to a local Mexican joint. But it was just so hot in there. I said, "All right, I've been thinking about margaritas all day, so let's have a couple of drinks, and then we'll go to another place that's got air conditioning." This Sabor in Plano, this wonderful Mexican restaurant. They have great margaritas. Great margaritas. I make some of the best, but these actually, rival mine. They're good. Uh, and that's all I could think about all day was not having to make one and just sit down and have a drink. So all you guys that are checking in, saying hello to all of you. Um, and so we went out to dinner, uh, sat down, talked about a bunch of stuff, and just thought that it's been a while. So going to come home and have some liquid corn and iced croutons for a nightcap to the dinner. And what better way to end my week than with a bunch of freedom fighters and patriots and everything else. So, Allie, when do you think the extra range is going to be done at ASE? The West Side Ranges, we are hoping to knock out this fall. I have to get everything cut to grade, and then we have to put all storm sewers in. Two-part step. And then we can put all the black dirt in for grass seed and all that. This rain did not help today. Noble, hey, Illinois, great. Uh, so, Daniel, Labels, Alex, all you guys, thank you very much. Uh, always enjoy seeing you guys check in. So, let's talk about a couple of things. Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals heard stuff just about a month ago tomorrow. Haven't heard anything. There have been some news stories out there where they claim Judge Easterbrook is in the middle. I don't think so, but it's wishful thinking. Um, so we'll see what he does. He tends to write faster opinions, but remember, Judge Wood took like 8 months to sit there and write her dissent in Atkinson. So we could, if he sides with us in some sort of convoluted decision, um, he could sit there and it could take us several months to get Judge Wood's opinion on that based on what it is. Scott, great South Carolina. Hey, you guys down there enjoy. Uh, Michael, you can go to the range and do things. If you're going to a range, it's not a problem. So today, some interesting things. I'm going to opine on something here that I don't usually get into politics. Just haven't. Having dealt with it for 30 years of my life. But let's look at something. So the Supreme Court has taken Romani, which is the DV case. But this is where the other side is writing the narrative. They're saying it's about domestic violence people. Romani was over a civil order. And if you look at the Court of Appeals sat there and said, okay, first blush, yes, this is constitutional. After New York came out, they said, whoa, we got to rethink this. New test. So they rethought it. And as they rethought it, they said the civil side of the case was unconstitutional. If he had actually been convicted for being a violator of a domestic violence conviction, being in possession of a gun, they said it would have been fine. But they said this was a civil side, and they went on to address how the civil side is different than the criminal side, and there is a way to keep dangerous people from having guns, and that's to incarcerate them. The court has taken Romani. Now, when I was working for NRA and teeing up stuff like the Shepard case, the Moore case, we were cognizant of the court. And we had always heard that the court, Kennedy was on the court then, that they were not going to allow a case. Scalia and Alito were not going to allow a case that would get cert with 4 votes, but wasn't going to win with 5 votes. That was all the back channel stuff that we kept hearing. And so I'm going to carry that forward because now I think you had a trifecta back then of Scalia, Thomas, and Alito. And now you have Thomas and Alito. And I don't think Thomas and Alito would be voting to accept a gun case they didn't think they were going to win, and let the left with Sotomayor, Jackson, and I forget who the troll is, let them undo what they had done between Heller, McDonald, Catano, and now New York. That's just not my case. I just don't think they're going to do that. And so now you have today or yesterday, the Department of Justice appealed the Vanderstock ruling out of the Fifth Circuit up to the Supreme Court. And Alito said, all right, we're going to stay this right now, except for we're going to give plaintiffs till August 4th, 7 days, to respond to this. Tell us why we shouldn't stay this. I think Justice Alito in this instance is being pragmatic. Like, we're going to hit the pause button on the vacator rule, because the vacator rule says your rule's into the dustbin, it's out with the trash, you're done. This rule is unconstitutional. F you. So I think Justice Alito is erring, saying, okay, Mr. Garland, you said X. We're going to give the other side a chance to respond, and then we're going to decide. Now, they have a couple of options. Let the vacator stay in place as they appeal it up because it's so bad. Okay. Uh, Stay on appeal. Not good for us, but, or grab the case and say, because in the petition, the DOJ through Garland sat there and said, consider this our petition for cert if you're going to deny our stay. And out of all the cases, I think this is the best one to go up. I think this one going up there, because bump stocks is about machine guns. I mean, look, the court may not be political in one aspect, but if you're going to make a decision, take the frames of receivers, because these were all Administrative Procedure Act challenges. They're not 2A challenges. We're challenging you on the Administrative Procedures Act. You overstepped your bounds. Congress did not give you this authority. Which is going to dovetail into the Chevron doctrine case they have accepted for the next term. So if they do accept this case, I can see them putting a stay on bump stocks and pistol braces because they're all APA cases, and then turning around and ruling in our favor on frames and receivers, and then GVR, like they did with the other cases last term, the stuff on bump stocks and pistol braces, telling the lower courts that got it wrong. Go see this, try again. Good move for us. Good move for us. And my biggest fear is that next session is going to be the year of the gun at the Supreme Court. And the Republicans were woefully underprepared for the Dobbs decision blowback. And they have zero plans in place to push back. I think Bloomberg and company, Chucky Schumer, Joe Biden wants a semi-auto ban in front of the court to get decided in June, 5 months before the election, to try to raise the hackles of the Democrats and the liberals and the independents like they did with the Dobbs decision 12 months ago, right before the last election. And my fear is, I think now's the time to go full bore to the court. We have a good court. Let's go. Rock and roll. My fear is the Republicans don't have a frickin' plan to deal with that. So let me get to more of your comments because I kind of put them on pause. Noble, yes. Registration opens October 1. We'll see if they have a plan, but we're in discussions about litigation on how to address that. The suppressor cases are still moving forward. They've delineated stuff down to the argument now is, are suppressors arms? Interesting case. It's okay. We have to make, just like they said, magazines aren't arms in the semi-auto ban cases. Now we've got the same argument over suppressors. Yeah, hippie. Yeah, that was the Floyd card case. Label about where you can challenge stuff. Yes, Thomas Mag has a case on that in Madison County currently. Uh, yeah, Keegan. Forgot her name. You're right. The troll. Let's see who else we got here. Hippie. Yep. Um, yeah. Mr. McPhillips, I'm seeing all kinds of comments. Robert, yes, Tyrion never sleeps, and neither do Patriots. Of course, we might take a nap under a ghillie suit every once in a while. CMS, blame an object for, yeah, but you're talking logic versus emotions, so understand where you are. Um, hey, Warsaw, good to see you in here again. Let me see what else we got. Dallin, I would agree with you. MS, Mag has a challenge. I'm not sure about Haynes, the state's attorney, but I know Mag has a challenge. Walter, hello. Uh, yeah, Warsaw, this stuff is going to get really convoluted and complicated. And by the way, for everybody asking about my grandchildren, um, I hear one of them squalling away upstairs. So there has been an issue with my son's house and the septic line, and everything's backing up. So they have temporarily moved in with us. And I have our grandkids staying here with us. And my daughter in law went upstairs to give them a bath, and Nathan is squalling. If you don't hear it because my microphone sensitivity is turned down, Nathan is squalling like a stuck pig right now. And I don't know what has got him so upset. Um, they've changed up the meds. He had a seizure the other day that did not require him to go to the hospital. Um, they're getting something dialed in. It's getting better. We don't have a diagnosis yet. Mr. McPhillips, yeah, uh, I got a buddy that's got about 10,000 D10 springs, and he's thinking about registering them one at a time. I was cleaning out my basement. The stuff I found, I'm like, well, okay. Really? It's just like, what am I supposed to register? It's just ridiculous. Walter, where do I see us in 5 years? That depends. So let me lay out a scenario for you. I think Biden et al. Wants everything they can in front of the court to get as many bad, in their minds, gun rulings as they can in 2024. And I think they're going to run long and hard against the illegitimacy of the Supreme Court for all their rulings from Dobbs on down. And if they are successful in winning the Senate with a couple of votes in the House, then I think you will see with a Democratic president, a Democratic control of the House and Senate, after they have spent 2 years arguing against the legitimacy of the Supreme Court, and they'll use the gun rulings and the abortion rulings to do that, then I think they turn around and they pack the court. They need 2 more to get past Manchin and Sinema. And if the Republicans have no plan to answer anything, it's possible that they get it. So the question is, in 5 years, the question is in 2024, if the Democrats win everything and add a couple of seats to the Senate, can they pack the court? If they pack the court in 2025, then Katie barred the door. And I think it gets real ugly after that. So the trick is, look, I like Trump as president. Thought he did a lot of good things. He's not my first pick this go around. But I'll vote for any Republican just because you got to have that ability to nominate stuff and do things. So, what is the status on the mag limit ban? It depends. If you're under the state court guys, you're fine. If anybody else, you are at 15 rounds for a pistol and 10 rounds for a rifle. Hippie, yes, I understand you can read. That there's a reason why all the Army manuals are written at a 6th grade reading level. What else we got? Christopher, they can pack the court if they have the numbers. The number on the Supreme Court is set legislatively. It's not in the Constitution. Yeah. Get my mop in order here. Yeah, hippie. Well, you're better than most Marines, so don't worry about it. He's doing okay. Hang on just a second. I'm going to mute my mic. Let's see. My daughter-in-law, she's given him my grandson his med. So I'll tell you what, we're going to have a appearance for Nathan tonight. Hey, Grayson. We'll see if the other grandkid shows up. But the fear I have is that, they don't understand what they're tangling with. When was the last time, and this is not endorsement of anything, when was the last time a military guy who actually had the skill, ability, and training? He's gonna put you here's my oldest grandson. Okay, here. Here's Grayson. This is the oldest, and he. I'm right here. All right, there you go. Here. They're like animals. They don't want to do what they're told. They're just like, there he is. Yeah, wave at everybody, Grayson. Yeah. Say hi. Say bye-bye. And he wants my die-cast models off the shelf to play with. And it's like, you're not getting this. So anyways, they don't get, we have not had a military guy. You go back to, Whitman, was it? Dallas? They don't understand what happens when things go sideways. They really don't. And that's why I quit using the phrase enforce the gun laws on the books, because the gun laws on the books are now a semi-auto ban that says that this magazine's illegal. All the years we said that, it was like enforce the laws against the criminals, and now you've written laws against law-abiding gun owners. So I've taken that out of my lexicon. I don't talk about that. And, you know, if it all goes sideways, we're going to look like the Balkans. But, there's a ton of stuff going on legally. All kinds of pieces are moving. If you'd have told me here we are in knocking on August that we would not have a decision from Judge Benitez, I'd say you're freaking crazy. All right, Michael, do you think the band will go to SCOTUS? Are you talking about Molly Hatchet, The Who, Leonard Skinner? Do I think a gun ban will go to SCOTUS? Yes. Did I think that we could be the first guys in line in light of where California with Miller and Duncan and Maryland with Bianchi was before us? I never thought we might be the first guys to get there. I really didn't, guys. But it's very, very possible we could be the first guys. Yeah, Dave Coe, he could be a future paratrooper if we turn the military around. Because for years, I would encourage people to join the military. Not today. Hey, Christopher, good to see you again. Hippie, yes. Any ban is an infringement. I get that, but you have to get the inferior courts to understand things. Hey, Steve, good to see you. Brian, that is a very interesting thing. I think parts of that would depend on, first, you got to be in an area to get charged and what's the charge is going to look like. So let's run through a couple hypotheticals. Get caught on a speeder. Got any guns in the car? Yep, I do. State police decide to officer safety, open up the gun case, find an AR. They run a database, not registered. What does the state's attorney in that county do when they go in to proceed? Because they're going to confiscate the gun. There's a whole host of things that flow from that. So I think it's do about 30 minutes on a video just on that. So we'll see. Because I have made some arguments about the Shauna Johnson case about how it could be handled to not violate the Supreme Court order. Warsaw, yeah. I'm at the gun club most days. Even with rain last night, I went out today and I was grinding some parking lots because it's all stone and I can work there and whatever. The cops I meet on the range on a daily basis are not interested in enforcing this unless you're a shithead. If you are a felon in possession or okay, they're gonna go after you. They're gonna pile on for whatever. But average guy, I've had cops tell me if we get a warrant to go to such and such address, we ain't going. I'm going to bet they have about 30% or less support from actual cops on the street. Yeah, Nelson, I understand the whole digital currency thing, but there's still an underground economy that they can't get around. They cannot get around the ability to barter and trade for services. Mm. I'm hoping your guys' drink on this hot ass Friday is tasting just as good as this liquid corn with ice croutons in, because I'm hitting a couple of the major food groups here. I really do. And you know what, guys? I'm sorry I haven't been doing videos. I get home, I am just whip ass. It's just like some nights I just don't even take a shower. Crawl on the couch for a little bit. And, y'all seen Pigpen? I mean, come on. A lot of you guys are old enough. I know some of you guys are old enough to understand Peanuts, Charlie Brown, and Pigpen. There are days I come home and my socks, that when I peel my socks off, the dust is just, I look like Pigpen and everything. I mean, if anything happens with our cases or the ones that are directly related, you absolutely can believe. I'll shut down the dozer and try to do something right from there. Um, as to what this is, I read a ton of stuff over my phone. I listen to Mark at Four Boxes Diners, Langley Outdoors, and a bunch of those guys. When I get notices during the day, I listen to them on my headsets and everything. So, hey, Chris, good to see you out there. Uh, so, hey, Warsaw, here's the thing. If you want to know what's going to happen, or Amani, I think you need to go read Dissent in a felon in possession case and the nonviolent stuff that she wrote about. You know what? I think, all right, all right, not to toot my own horn here, guys. I mean, this freaking shit ain't rocket science. Go look at Amy Coney Barrett's dissent in the nonviolent felon stuff when she was on a court of appeals in Indiana. Why do I say that? So let's go to the Floyd Card case in Illinois, Sangamon County. The original judge, who's been dealing with this thing for like 3+ years, sat there and had health issues and got moved off the case. So they bring this female from family court. Okay. She asks not one question during oral arguments, says proposed orders, adopts the state order. State order she adopts sits there and talks about people were required to bring military guns in the militia laws of 1791. So, wait a minute. In state court, time out, sweetheart, could you please bring me a glass of ice? Running low here. Needs more jet fuel for everything. But here in state court, you are arguing the militia laws state that you had to have a firearm of military quality, military grade. And then over here, you were arguing you can't have these guns because they're military grade firearms. Does anybody else see the problem with this? And I was arguing left and right with the lead counsel. This should be a central theme of our case. Think about this. In the state court, you're arguing over here. And I've been meaning to do a video on this for about 6 months. Is Nate around, or what's he doing?
He's over here. He's not real happy right now.
I don't care. Bring him over. I want to show everybody Nate. They're all asking. Sorry guys, just family stuff is. But You get this? Well, the laws that govern the FOID card, the analogies that you're going to use under New York say that we could require you to have military grade firearms. Well, here's the man of the hour. Okay, guys, here's my grandson, Nate. This is the one that all you guys have talked about, prayed about. We thank you for all that. Hey, bubbies.
Nathan.
Yep.
Hello.
This is him. So, all right. Get to hand them back to grandma. And, you sit there. How can you, white man speak with a forked tongue? How else? And I think we ought to be, driving this up their ass like Maverick making a missile run in some undisclosed country. And just ask them to justify that. I would love to see either the brief or the oral arguments to where they justify these two diametrically opposed arguments before the courts. I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I just don't. But all right, so let me catch up with some comments here because I went on my little diatribe. Warsaw, if you want to give me a shout, feel free. Do you have my cell? Let me know if you have my cell number or not, because I'm not sure I have yours. MS, what am I drinking? I'm drinking Single Barrel Jack tonight. Yep. It was one of those nights for some nice smooth whiskey. Warsaw, I'm not sure what you said and she contradicted, but I think I'm not a lawyer, guys. I'm an operating engineer. I'm a bulldozer operator. I'm an accidental lobbyist. I got the gig because, the story is I showed up at a motorcycle meeting to talk about why we should have an alternate gun rights movement. And when I started 40 years ago, we're going to call it Illinois Gun Owners, whatever, because I was unhappy with other groups in the state. And yeah, but they ended up recruiting me to be an abate guy because I owned a 1100 Shadow, and I ended up being their legislative guy. And then from being their legislative guy for 18 months, the NRA decided they wanted me to be their legislative guy or a contract guy in Illinois. And it went from there. It's a whole story. I probably ought to write a book about this stuff, but that's what happened. But I see stuff. And the couple of things that made me effective as a lobbyist, I could boil all this federal state law down to something you could understand and say how it interacted with each other and why it was wrong. The other thing was that I saw these things in a different lexicon. I look at the stuff differently. I have a whole argument about the NFA, and I'm not going to publicize that until a couple of lawyers make their decision about what they're going to do. But I think there's a way to start taking it down that nobody else has talked about, because you got to read through the splits in the court. And while some people think that, oh, the court's going to do this DV stuff and we don't want, no. If they rule anywhere close to our favor on civil orders and throw out red flag laws and say these are the matrix you have to have, the Republicans better be prepared to deal with that. And they're not. And last year with Dobbs showed us that. And our guys need to be ready to go to the mat and politically and argue this stuff and have talking points and all that kind of stuff. And I don't see any training out there. I don't see anything pushing that. I don't, you know, I got an invite today from somebody to the Gun Rights Policy Conference. My wife is encouraging me to go. So I may be there this year, but just to network and do some things. But sometimes I don't get how people who have shingles and degrees above mine don't see some of the stuff that I see. Chris J, yo, Carmen, hey. Warsaw, what did you delete? Jason, no, I don't have anything on Washington. I'm not following it that closely. I follow Washington gun law for that stuff. Warsaw, tell me where you sent that. Jason, yeah, you know what? The FFLs are under their own deal because their license is at stake, and they will be very they'll be very skittish about transferring. We've had so in your law, they said typical forearms for a firearm are okay. It's not in Illinois law. I've had arguments with people here in Illinois that 1022s are legal or illegal, in my opinion. Well, Bass Pro's selling them. Well, okay. Bass Pro's willing to gamble on that. Then I had a dealer sit there and say Mini 14s, tacticals are illegal, but the rest of the Mini 14s are legal. Yet Mini 14s have that black plastic heat shroud. Well, it's a heat shroud. It's not a handguard. Well, what's the definition of a handguard? Definition of a handguard is something that allows you to hold the firearm with the non-firing hand without being burned. Well, if you do a C-clamp grip, what is that doing on a Mini 14? And then a Mini 14 under the features tests certainly meets the definition. But you know what? Hey, it's your license. You do what you want. Ivan, favorite AK. I don't have one. The only AK I own is an original AK-22 that is probably 40 plus years old. But I am partial from when I was in the service to the AKM underfolders. So the dude, yo, thank you very much. Just I keep trying and I keep arguing, and the whole thing with the channel is to try to educate people about things that they don't see. And going back to the 1022, the Washington gun ban specifically, which passed after Illinois, specifically exempts traditional forearms. Why did they do that? It's a video I've been wanting to make and just not the time to copy and paste and put everything together. Mark, depends on Republicans you're talking about. Illinois Republicans, I'm not so sure. Dude, yeah, my kids live in Plano. I'm in Yorkville. Ryan, you tuned in late. Progression in courts is Sangamon County Circuit Court has ruled against a FOID card. We have about 15 different cases at different stages within the federal courts. And they're dragging our heels because they have all kinds of full dockets. Save the humans. It depends. Probably not. Because the federal challenge is under the Administrative Procedures Act. All right. That's not a constitutional challenge. Because it's not a constitutional challenge, it's whether or not ATF exceeded their authority. And if ATF exceeded their authority, that has nothing to do with whether or not Illinois can require anything of what they did. So, not yet. Hey, Amy. I might need my wife to step in here for a minute. Hippie, you're absolutely right. It's not just firearms. It's nunchucks. It's sword. Literally. And do I have it here? Oh, there it is. That qualifies as an arm. Now, what the regulations on carrying a gladius like this, I'm not exactly sure what the court would uphold on that, but arms are not limited to firearms. I 100% agree. Warsaw, I don't know where you sent it to, so if you emailed me, let me check over there. Yeah, okay, Warsaw. I see it over in my email. I see it over there. So yeah, we'll hook up back to this. Hold on, guys. Guys, while I go to the bathroom, my wife is going to entertain you so you don't have a blank screen to look at.
No, I'm not.
Sit down.
Oh, goodness.
Pick up Grace and say hi to everybody.
Hi, folks. Oh, okay. Here comes the grandson. Come here. Let's show them. Show them. Can you show them the one? Where's the one? One. One. We're learning our numbers. I can't hear anybody. I'm sure Todd can. What number is that? Is that a 2? Is that 2? So look, you're right there on the screen. So, folks, as you can tell, Todd collects a lot of things. And we had a lovely dinner tonight and a couple of margaritas. And the weekend is here. Oh, somebody wants me to spill all his secrets? That would take hours, guys. Hi, Chris. Hi, other Chris. Oh, thank you. All right, guys, I'm leaving. Bye. No touch.
Oh, that is St. Amy. I could not have done what I have done for 30 years without her. It is all, she has been the one that has kept the glue of everything together. But I had to go pee. Sorry, guys. I just didn't want to leave you a blank screen. So, Warsaw, I got your stuff. Yeah, I'll give you a shout after this. If I'm still coherent after that. Yes, Ken, I've heard of night frights, and I know Todd over there that does a bunch of that stuff. So yes. Oh, Amy, oh, you guys, you guys are trying to get my wife. Yeah, okay, that's all fun. Yeah, I love my grandkids. Trust me, she has given way more than anybody should be asked to give. Um, she's a single parent, 6 months out of the year. And if I have any regrets, it's the time I lost with my kids. But if I did it to ensure their liberty, then maybe it's a trade off. Bill P, no. Bolt guns are exempt. Funny thing is, you can have a thumb hole stock on a pump action shotgun, can't have a thumb hole stock on a semi auto shotgun. Or a solid SKS is impacted because it's semi auto. Gotta walk through the lines here. Oh, Tommy, you have no idea. You have no idea. I way over married in my class. It's probably why she took 3 or 4 times to say yes, but it has been a wonderful ride. I wouldn't trade her for anything. She does not get enough due for everything else that goes on. Horizon, no, the M1 Garand is exempt. So here's the thing, guys. I understand trying to figure out what the rules are, where things are. Adding stuff wrongfully doesn't help us. Anything I've looked at and I've argued about, 1022s, 870s, I will argue. I've looked at it. I made the determination that you could be charged in Cook County. That's my baseline. If the prosecutors in Cook County want to come after you, could they? And could a reasonable jury be influenced by their arguments? So when I say something's banned or restricted, the plain language, and that is what's in the back of my mind. Scott, our wives are the better half. They do a ton of stuff. Cannot say that I could not have done this job for what I did for 30 years without her. Well, save, I probably wasn't as handsome as I am now. Warsaw, yes. Yes, they were. Mitchell, I agree with you. So, all right. So, do we start a pool? 2.4 million FOID cards. How many? The question is how many individuals register and how many things get registered. I have a friend who probably has 10,000 springs that fit an AR. He's contemplating registering them individually. If people do that, it'll slam their. I don't know what their system's going to look like, but I have no faith in them based on how I saw them roll out concealed carry. Chris J, I'm not sure what you're asking. Save the humans. Yep. Okay. I have to look at 3-year post to figure out. Yep. I'm the luckiest guy in the world for the woman that said yes to me. It has been an incredible ride. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Dude, no. It has nothing. They learned from the 94 ban. Warsaw, because the limitation is fixed magazines with 10 rounds or more. M1 Garand does not have a fixed magazine that holds more than 10 rounds. Hook? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So there's a whole thing about whether or not CNRs that have SBRs, and if you're in the NFA system, are they going to transfer that and let the state see that? Don't know. Jason. I wouldn't go so far as flashlight mounts because flashlights are not an attachment under the definition. So here's the rule I learned as a very young lobbyist, as a very naive individual walking into the Capitol once upon a time. I learned at the elbow of a tobacco lobbyist. So if you go back and see, thank you for not smoking, yes. Murder Inc. Okay, whatever. Merchants of Death, whatever. But here's the thing. You write any law you want, and you let me write the definitions, and I will always win. The definitions control everything. So you always have to refer back to definitions, which is what the whole thing with the Vanderstock case is about. The definitions set in statute don't allow ATF to modify them. Scott, yeah, Illinois' websites suck. Yep, red dot scopes, they haven't gone after optics. That does not fall under accessories. Got to go back to the definition of accessories. Brian, yeah, they learn. They have been learned. That's why I argued when this whole thing went down that we shouldn't be negotiating or talking about stuff in detail. Let them write the most god awful thing and we'll take it from there. Michael Mitchell, Watt Remingtons. Warsaw, you can make that argument, except got to read definitions, and it's not what they wrote. Definitions are everything. Patman, go look at the Public Act. That's what tells you everything. So, we got some interesting stuff going on with the Fifth Circuit over Vanderstock. There's a ton of stuff going on, movement everywhere. It's real interesting. It's amazing. We haven't seen anything out of the fourth with Bianchi and their FOID card case and all that stuff. Save, I agree with you. The problem with their argument is they get what they want. It doesn't work. They want more. When is anybody going to see that? Let's see, dude. Yes, I agree, dude. There's going to be mass non-compliance on registration. I think my over/under right now, 2.5 million FOID cards. 10% is 250,000. My high school public math. I'm gonna say you're gonna have 125,000 individuals potentially register. What they register and that number and parts and all that other stuff is a second guess. But I'm gonna say you're gonna have a less than 5% compliance rate. That's gonna be my prediction today. Probably need to write it down so I remember it, but I think you're gonna have less than, I mean, if I'm doing my math right, I hang out trusty calculator over here. 2500 2500 500 25,000 250,000 2.5 million times 0.05 equals 125,000. My public high school math was right. That's where I think we're going to be. Jason, Illinois versus. I think our challenges are good. I think just they're slightly different attacks on the same issue. Hook, yes, there is. There are arguments that I think, but the problem is getting it. I would have been happier if we had not been combined with the other cases to make that argument, but we're trying. Chris, who replaces you? I don't know. I wasn't in a law firm to have an apprentice. I wasn't in a position to have an apprentice. You got to understand. I was a construction worker, an operating engineer that showed up in Springfield to argue criminal law because I had a passion for the Second Amendment. And the first time I stepped in front of a judiciary committee, which is largely made up of lawyers, prosecutors, and the like, a couple of cops sprinkled in there for good measure, people that are dealing with criminal law on a daily basis. The cops, application on the street, lawyers, defense, whatever, rule of law, prosecutors, how the stuff goes through the court system, whatever. I was none of those. And I knew that the only way I could beat them was to understand the subject better than them. And so what I did is I researched a bunch of stuff, and I would have appellate court decisions for Illinois in the bathroom. And that was my reading material. And then I sought out a couple of people at the Capitol who were good attorneys who dealt with this, prosecutor wise, defense wise. And when I was trying to understand a concept like the rule of leniency or the rule of lesser includeds, and I was trying to make arguments, I took the time to learn those arguments. And then once I learned those arguments, to look at the case law. And if I went into an argument at a committee, I typically had certain parts of the case law highlighted and in my folder. But I had a somewhat unique ability to bring these complex legal theories down into a layman's term to where we could talk about them and make the argument. I never got beat on an argument. I got beat on politics. I got beat on emotions. But in one case, so, when facts matter, I'm sitting there for the original gun dealer licensing thing. Mayor Daley's down there, does his thing, and I'd watched him do this through 3 press conferences. So if you want to know, one of the things that military guys look for is patterns of life. And his people did the same thing time after time. And what I noticed was they always grabbed this one particular firearm to wave it around. Happened to be a bolt action gun chambered in a rifle cartridge that would qualify as a pistol. And I looked at it and I watched enough video that I figured out what gun it was. It was a Savage, if I remember correctly. And this is going back over 20 years now. And so I pulled up and got that catalog from the company. Sure enough. And so they wheel their cart of guns in, and I go walking by there and like, oh, you can't touch this. I just want to kind of see that one over there. And yep, I saw the name Savage on it. And I knew, all right. So I go sit down, I'm in my chair, and then we go. And Tom Dart goes up to testify, and I get seated right next to Tom Dart. Tom gives his testimony, and they're doing all their stuff, and they grab this pistol and they start waving around. Now it's a bolt action 10.5-inch pistol with a pistol grip on it. There's no buttstock. It is a rifle receiver that's cut down this long. And as they're going through the testimony and I'm sitting up there, this guy's waving his gun around. There's no sights on this. It's designed to go through vests. They say every anti-gun argument you could make. And at that point in time, I opened my folder and I slid out a catalog. And Tom Dart is sitting next to me. So what's that? I said, this is the catalog for the manufacturer for that firearm. And after Mayor Daley's guy said, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to interject here. I held up the catalog. I said, it doesn't have any sights on it because it's not designed to have iron sights. It is designed to have a scope on it. It is in a caliber designed to knock down a 600-pound elk at 400 yards. It's not. Here's the catalog. I see mountain lions. I see elk. I don't see squad cars. I don't see police officers. And Tom Dart was just sitting next to me, just shaking his head. He was like, "Only you." Um, you have to understand your opponents. I had more than a few moments like that in my career, and I relish those few stories I get to tell. But that's how but the facts didn't matter. But we have to show up to make the argument. You cannot let them have the field unattended. We need to go in there ready for a bare knuckled, bloody fist fight. But we also have to be smarter in how we deal with things. Michael, yeah, I've seen license plate stuff at gun shows and all kinds of stuff. Skydiver, I hope it's Long Island iced tea. Dave, no, I do not see anything here leading to constitutional carry. I just don't. If the courts do anything, but understand. So you've got this footnote 9 or whatever it is about 43 states. And the state is saying that leads to FOID cards, but you're talking 43 states that have carry licenses that are shall issues. There aren't 43 states that have. I mean, how they can misread this shit, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think people ought to be disbarred for some of the shit they're writing. Hook, keep it up. Bigfoot? Okay. You hate guns. Then why are you here? Hook, yeah, I was never a sports guy. No. My father took the 1967 Roseland Little League team to play the Japanese, and probably the biggest disappointment is I couldn't play baseball to save my life. My younger brother played football, and that's what happened. All right, Jason, what are you talking about? SCR. So I don't know what an SCR is. Yeah, Bigfoot. I spent 18 years plus in the military. Getting shot at is no fun. I agree. I entered this world with so many holes in my body, and I'm trying to exit the world with the same number of holes and not any additional ones. But if you want to have a conversation about this, I'm all in. Hook, I've known Tom for long years, and this is the problem that a lot of our guys don't get. I know Kelly Cassidy, I know Tom Dart. There are a number of them that I can go out and drink with and have a difference of opinion. And we can still be civil human beings. There are very few people I dislike. The number of people I over my 30-year career in the General Assembly that I dislike are on one hand. But um, I mean, difference with Tom is I've got 30 years with Tom. I can walk up to him, say things that a lot of people probably can't. And he'll laugh at it and, whatever. Hawk, yeah, kind of. But there's a lot, Ronald Reagan talked about the silent majority. It's not always consent, just waiting for the right time to figure out what the action is. Hippie, I absolutely agree. A license is the way to restrict the right from the people that I completely agree with that. But we need to fight that on a different level. Go back and read Heller, and they talked about this from Pennsylvania in the 1800s. Oh, Heller is a worthwhile read to go through. And back in the day, so when Heller came out, I was on a cruise through the Caribbean. I was in Grand Cayman. My phone bill. So Heller came out in 2008. My phone bill for that 1 week cruise was over $1,500, answering all the reporter interviews and everything else. Hey, Bigfoot, you know what? Don't thank me for my service. I did it because it was fun. And I did it. So if I paid the penance, then holy, my sons don't have to. Yeah, we did it. We did it for a number of reasons. And, the reason I enlisted was because I think it was a sophomore. I'm sitting in a social studies class, and we're about to change classes, and all of a sudden they start wheeling TVs in, the old audio visual things back in the day. And they start running stuff from the news about a failed rescue attempt in Iran. And what got me was that you're an American citizen and there are guys willing to fly halfway around the world to get you. No other reason. They didn't know you. You're an American citizen. I wanted to be one of those guys. I never got there, never even got close. I was 10 miles away from getting there. But that's what drove me to enlist in the military. You guys are having some inner chat communication, so hippie, it's a natural right, but things can be regulated. And this is where I think our side makes a mistake as to how they define some of that stuff. I have this argument about bang versus boom. Hand grenades are bearable arms. Justice Easterbrook brought that whole thing up. But hand grenades have collateral damage. So I think when you look at and I've been talking with a couple of guys about this. Dangerous and unusual. So the unusual part gets to the common use test. But I think we have to redefine dangerous as being unusually dangerous. And then you have to take another parcel from there that goes unusually dangerous when used in self-defense. So my AR-15, my short barrel, is not unusual. nor is it unusually dangerous when used, especially in defending my home or anything else. A hand grenade, on the other hand, when I pick up a rifle, pistol, even a shotgun, which has shot that has a pattern, I'm aiming it at an individual target. Being a clay target, being an individual, being it whatever. A hand grenade has no target other than that area. When fuck you is not enough, here you go. Okay? And you can't stop. If there are 10 bad guys down there and 2 good guys, you can't stop the collateral damage. You can't. That is my argument about bang versus boom. That's why Justice Easterbrook jumped shark, bazookas, and the like. Bang versus boom. Can I use a hand grenade in self-defense without guaranteeing no collateral damage? No. And everybody, a bunch of guys going to give me hate mail about this stuff, but start with the bang versus boom argument and understand the legal implications of that. And that shuts down a whole lot of other stuff. Oh, Nate, you going to bed?
Yeah.
Grandsons are going to bed, so. Outlaw King, I'm not sure what your question is. Thor, okay. Are you a troll? I'm watching you guys. I'm trying to answer. I'm trying to read and answer at the same time. But it's a Freedom Friday, so we're enjoying the fruits of our labor. Okay, Outlaw. So then what's your comment about ARs? I won't debate you. AOR assault. Chill out for a couple minutes so I can read through this stuff. Let's go. I get that. I just use it because Judge Easterbrook threw it out as bearable arms. And that's where it's a bang versus boom argument cuts that out. RPGs, I name them. I had an argument at the bar the other night with a guy who's an 11 Charlie, which is a mortarman. Well, we aim our shit. No, you point your shit in a general direction, hoping to hit something 4 clicks away. And you could adjust because it took guys like me being out there saying, no, you're short 300 yards, add 300. No, that's not aiming anything. That's pointing it in a fucking direction and hoping you get close. That's what it was. Tanks, yeah, they aim, but that's a whole different thing. Chris J, I'm not sure what interview you're referring to. I've seen several. All right, great. There's the weather storm going off. Hold on. All right, the severe thunderstorm warning on our weather radio just goes banana. Jason, what's your opinion on reauthorization on the under? That it's coming out of the Senate. It's not a final bill. Remember, both chambers have to agree to everything. So I think it's a bargaining chip by the Democrats. And not knowing how it got voted on and everything else, that's a whole different thing. Outlaw King, Republican and Democrat, for what? Hippie, yo. Outlaw King, what guns are you referring to? Well, let's go. You mean Pizza the Hut? Chris, I think they will shit themselves. I think they don't understand what's heading their way. So you had 250,000 people apply over pistol braces compared to somewhere between 4 and 40 million. Outlaw King, yeah. Subscribe, thank you. We'll do more. It's just been a while with a bunch of stuff going on. And trust me. So, I'm sitting there building ranges at the club. We have 20 new ranges to build. And we got this new D5. And I'm just enjoying the snot on my D5. You know what? It's diesel therapy. We call it vitamin D. We call it diesel therapy. We talk about calling it turning diesel fuel into noise. But you know what? You've never seen a D8 parked in front of a therapist's office. So let's go. I don't know. What weather radio? I don't know. Save, you know what? That inch and a quarter we got at the club screwed me today on one front, but we worked out all the stuff. But hey. Yeah, I'm in Yorkville, not. So, whatever. If the power goes out, then we end the broadcast. We do whatever. We're knocking on an hour and a half. I'll keep answering questions and just talking with you guys for a bit. But probably 10:30 we'll cut it off, depending. Yeah, I got enough ice and booze to get me to 10:30. Ron, Cherry Valley, congrats. Yeah, nothing down here yet. So Jason, no, I don't see that happening in Illinois. I do not. The one thing here in Illinois that I've worked with, and I know lobbyists for the insurance industry, they're dead set against it. And if you can't buy the product, yeah, no. Now, I think that one would be a short-lived lawsuit if it passed, and I don't see them they're getting smart. The anti-gunners are getting smarter. I don't always think they're getting dumber, but sometimes they surprise me. Mr. Phillips, no, nothing, nada, zero, zilch. Let's go. I'm out there every day, uh, Monday through Friday. I'm taking tomorrow off. The wife needs me to do some stuff around the house, which I've been neglectful for. And then I'm heading on to a class for CQB down in Peoria. Nick, you're a weird individual if you'd love to smell a 928. Well, Warsaw, there is that. We haven't got through all that stuff yet, but Save the Humans, you must be watching Apocalypse tonight. Apocalypse, now tonight. All right, last of the ice. Another pour. So we're into 3 pours for tonight. I guess we ought to do single barrel Saturdays, but guns, yo. Chris, it depends on how much band hours they have to do what. Save the Humans. I don't understand Leo's comment. Well, Ron, D5 means a different word in my lexicon because in my lexicon, the D5 is the dozer we own that I run every day. So D5 has a different definition in my world. Warsaw, yeah, Bishop. I talk to Greg all the time. Jace, no opinion yet. They hasn't stepped in my wheelhouse. We'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt. See what he's gonna do. So far, he hasn't done anything stupid. See what he does. Brett Dahmer, I have no freaking idea without looking at each individual one of those guys. If you want to pay me as a consultant, I'm willing to. I have no idea. I don't know all those guns individually. Jason, yeah, I'll probably be doing more Bishop when there's something to talk about. Not talk about. We don't generate. I don't generate content just to generate content. There's something to talk about. I make that argument. I say, hey, there's a few things I just been lax on doing. I want to do an analysis of the oral arguments, but guys, when it's 90 freaking degrees outside, and I sit there and spend 8 hours, 10 hours on a dozer, and then come home I take a shower and I'm burnt. I mean, I've lit the candle at both ends and I'm done. And I want to do more for you guys, and I understand it, but understand this. I think there are a lot of other guys on YouTube covering the basics. Now, I have a different thinking about what's going on with the Vanderstock case that ties it into some other stuff that I have not heard expressed. Now, that only came out at, I don't know, 4 o'clock this afternoon, our time here in Illinois. Uh, and that's the difference. I do some different things. I look at things differently. But not always the fastest, not always, whatever. But try to keep you guys informed. And look, if there's a hiatus because I don't do something, if there's something worth talking about, I show up dusty, dirty, looking like Pigpen, say, guys, let me tell you what just happened. Nothing has been that barn burning for me just yet. So Outlaw, hang on, I gotta back up. Guys, I'm trying to keep out some of the stuff. Hook, yes, a magazine can be defined as a tube. Hey, baby. My wife is telling me she's going to bed because.
I'm going to do my puzzles and read my book.
Come over here. Come over here.
Good
night. Guys, Saint Amy. The only reason I've been able to do what I've done for 30 years is because of her.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to bed.
And I won't tell you what my husband told you while she came over here. But.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Come on. Let's go upstairs. Come on.
Let's see. What does all this do to trust? Hook, it depends on what state you're in. That's an interesting question. I don't normally deal with that. Very interesting question. I mean, for once, it's not something I would cringe at, but I would have to dive in. And here's where I'm going to tell you it all hinges on. How does the FOID card define a person? Because trust can't have a FOID card. And then the question becomes, how do you transfer guns into or out of a trust? Because interesting question, but it's where we are. Now, one part about it, because somebody has to sign for everything on a 4473. So, different thing. Jason, I don't know him. Warsaw, yeah, I know Kwame. Kwame and I talked at the oral arguments. So let me see what else. Guys, I'm trying to keep up on the comments here, but all right, there we go. No, don't want to do that. Wilbur, let me tell you this. Nobody has ever seen a D8 parked in front of a therapist's office. RK, I get along with Dwight. He's a good guy. I like Yorkville. The sheriff has the combination to my safe because I have stuff that is better than what they have. I said, if you need it, call. Whether or not the guys are capable of employing it properly, don't know. But I trust my sheriff. Jason, yes, I've heard that argument. It's ridiculous and it's going to be dressed in briefs going forward. Michael Mitchell, it's possible, but the question is, how do they come into those arms? What is the explosive range of C4? It depends on the quantity and the application because there's about 3 pounds of C4 and M18 Claymore mine. There's a blast radius of 2 meters high out to give or take 200 yards. And I've been, it's been 20 years since I've been in the military. So it depends on the shape, charge, and application. Angry Chinese grandpa. Dude, your thumbs, angry Chinese grandpa, your thumbs are interfering with how I can decipher what you wrote. Yeah, Warsaw. Yeah. No. Save. I dealt with toes in the calf. It only depends on wire guided death. Outlaw King. No, I will not be going live tomorrow. I did this because I came home and a bunch of people were asking me stuff, and just sometimes easier to deal with this here. And I'm going to clean the pool tomorrow, help my wife, take down 2 trees in the front, and then get ready for a CQB class to drive to Peoria. That's tomorrow. Have a good steak, drink a bunch of whiskey. Chris J, that depends. I'm in Illinois for the next few years as we try to unpack everything and figure out what we got. Say you're 11 hotel. Okay. So I have 05 Bravo, 95 Bravo, 19 Delta. So those are my 3 MOSs. but I also have 19 Delta, 3 Papa, Foxtrot 7. So, as a staff sergeant, they kept my paratrooper designation because I was paratrooper qualified. And I was also Pathfinder qualified. So I got the Foxtrot 7. David Labuda, I don't understand your question. They wrote stuff in against the bullet button. You got educated about stuff. But the problem is, between now and January, nothing's illegal except for sale. Nothing's illegal to own. Outlaw King, Moonshine. Jason, I haven't been buying parts, but lots of guys are getting orders canceled and all that stuff. All right, save. So, when did you enlist and when did you get out? Just out of curiosity. So, it looks like we got a few vets in here. And they have renumbered almost everything. So I have no idea. Understand, I was the last class of 05 Bravo radio operators going through Fort Gordon in August, September of 1983. So save, you were over in Desert Storm. You were over in Desert, Desert Storm, Desert, uh, Iraqi Freedom, whatever. I got called up for that stateside. So I have a uncle who I never met because he was killed at the Battle of the Hook in Korea. And I've been researching that and looking at that. I've got it, I think, narrowed down to 2 outposts. My father's been dead for 20 years, but I remember every once in a while he would talk about his brother, and he escorted his brother's casket home. Uh, my dad got drafted in World War II and was drafted again in Korea. And in Korea, he was sent to Panama. And his younger brother was in the Marines, Douglas. And he was killed at the Battle of the Hook in October of 58 or 59. I forget part of that. But I'm trying to narrow down where he was. And I've got it narrowed down to these 2 outposts because he was part of of a heavy weapons platoon and how they got dispersed. So it's one of those things. All right, guys, let's see. All right, so I'm Still getting used to this comment stuff. $84, yep. Sorry, Mr. McPhillips, but salute to your grandfather. Neek, thank you very much. Take care. David, AR-15s in California don't look like anything that you would call an AR-15. They've been playing games there for 20 years. So, guys, just getting back to banter. So, I'll tell you what, it is 10:22 according to my computer. At 10:30, I'm going to shut this off, and we'll see what happens. But we're good. Just yeah, Hook. Guys are like that. Let's go. We have the ability to bump members, but we'll wait. We'll let the membership vote on that in October. Guys, Warsaw and all the other guys that hang out, I appreciate it. I really do. Just one of those nights that we just sit around, drink some whiskey, talk about stuff. And there goes the weather alarm again. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't give a shit. I've been out in the field with a poncho and a rifle, and the world didn't care. So, guys, hey, thought I'd give you a chance to check in, ask questions, and do whatever. Or else I'll call you in a minute. But guys, hey, thank you very much. Always good to see you guys. As always, frag out.